Hi guys, we're going to go into E-60. He is a tank support character in Genesis. His description says the prototype of the E-60 series. This robot won the Mech Wrestling Championship 7 consecutive times. It is now known as the Crimson Storm. His background. The Robot Manufacturing Association of the Earth Federation created the E-60 military robot prototype in order to gain popularity and a lucrative military contract. The association put the robot into Mech Wrestling Championship. The original E-60 won 7 consecutive championships, was painted red and dubbed the Crimson Storm. However, due to its massive size and astronomical energy cost, the military didn't see the E-60 series as practical and cost-efficient. So no more E-60 mechs were ever created, and the Crimson Storm became the first and last mech of the series. Luckily for E-60, the AI Research Center of the Mars Technology Institute revamped and upgraded it. Their superior tech gave E-60 mobility, destructive power, a nuclear reactor core, and a combat module so advanced that E-60 became unrivaled in battle testing. E-60 became a member of the New Titan forces. Although not strictly human, it is self-aware and far more deadly. So pretty interesting robot story there. He has his red skin here as the Crimson Storm, and this is his other skin. I don't know what this skin's called, but it's kind of interesting there. I think I like the red one better personally, but you know, that's just me. So let's go ahead and hop into his skills. Oh, it looks like the videos are working out. Alright, so his first skill, Power Jet, energy cost 60, cooldown 11 seconds. E-60 activates his jet engine and launches into the air, increasing movement speed for a short period. When Power Jet is active, E-60's next basic attack deals additional damage and will stun the target if target health is lower than E-60's. So, straight off the bat, energy cost low, cooldown very high. It gives him movement speed and a stun on his next basic attack, depending on HP percentage. So right away, tank support coming in a little on the weak side, personally. The 11-second cooldown is kind of long for something that only gives you movement speed and a stun. And it's not 100% a stun, it is a very specific type of stun. So depending on the damage that you get out of this, and like the rest of his kit, this ability seems like the weakest I've seen so far in the game for the supports. So let's hop into the number 2 ability, Missile Barrage, 90, 100, 110 to 120. So kind of low, high at the start, low at the late. Cooldown 9876. So fires 2 missiles that prioritize enemy heroes. Missiles cause area of effect damage and reduce enemy movement speed by 20%. Speed reduction effect stacks. So toss out 2 missiles. If they both land on the same person, that's a 40% slow. That's pretty good. So cooldown 9 seconds, 876. Fairly low cooldowns. Lower the cooldown, the energy cost seems to be pretty efficient later in the game as well. The slow that it causes is essentially a 40% slow, which is pretty strong. It doesn't say that the missiles damage stacks, but I hope it does. So pretty cool ability compared to his Power Jet. He essentially speeds around for a bit, uses Missile Barrage to slow, goes in for the stun. That's his first like combo, level 2 combo. The fact that these get essentially very low cooldown and their mana cost is low, this ability alone is going to redeem his Power Jet, just because how much you are able to just send in your missiles and continue that poke. So that's something about his laning phase that's going to be kind of difficult. He's got a lot of poke. His next ability, Ionic Armor, energy cost 0, cooldown 0, it's passive. Whenever E-60 receives or deals damage from a basic attack, his physical damage, resistance, and health regeneration are temporarily increased. Skill effect stacks. Okay, so he is a constant trader in lane because he wants to use Ionic Armor efficiently. So you're going to want to use Missile Barrage, go in, do a little dance, make a little Power Jet, and ionic armor away. So pretty interesting combo to run a high cooldown rate ability with a lackluster stun. Depending on the damage, it might actually deal a lot of damage. I don't know. And it looks like it should because its costs and cooldowns do not scale. So his damage and the stun hopefully does. Here, I would imagine the slow percent is going to stay the same. The damage may increase. And later on, I mean, this Missile Barrage just looks like a very punishing ability. And then Ionic Armor kind of gives him that extra leg up from having a low cooldown on his Power Jet. Also, something to keep of note, Power Jet might be a attack animation reset, so he might get 3 autos, whereas most characters will get 1. And his constant poke and ability to continuously trade, he's definitely a bully type character, so I'm liking it. Power Jet redeemed. Let's go into his 4th ability, Deep Impact. Energy cost from like low to low. It's not too bad of an energy cost at all. Cooldown is 60 seconds. Cooldown does not scale, obviously. E-60 launches into the air, smashing down and causing massive area damage. Enemies in the epicenter receive double damage and are knocked into the air. E-60's shield is temporarily increased based on the number of enemies within the blast radius. So yes, he is looking like a very, very strong tank support. As far as tank supports go, he's got ways to continuously trade, ways to continuously poke, and a way in and or out of the fight. Out meaning he stuns them and continues to walk away whenever he starts almost losing the trade. And with Missile Barrage always being there for you to just smack down and use, it doesn't look like he's gonna lose that many trades very easily because of Ionic Armor. So trading even with him is basically gonna cause you to lose the trade unless you have unless you have a trade ability set that is faster than 9 seconds, which you're going to want if you're going up against an E-60, so someone who has consistent poke, or is as efficient at winning trades or sustaining in lane after a trade against E-60 is what you're going to want. So very, very it's not a complicated kit at all. I mean, positioning is going to be big for Missile Barrage and Deep Impact. You're going to want to position those to get the most effect out of those abilities as possible. I mean, you get a 40% slow, which is pretty big, into a Deep Impact knockup, which does double damage and knocks them into the air, making you more tanky on top of Power Jet, which is just like, I mean, this guy has a pretty decent amount of CC, and late game, it seems he's going to be a very, very tanky dude. So I'm very excited to see what he comes out to in the game. I don't think he's going to be a top support, seeing as this kit is a bit more dangerous to have as a support where you're not getting the gold income like Chris or Jones. He's not as safe as Jones either, because he obviously has to go in to do stuff. His missiles are pretty much the only thing that's going to cause him to win lane. So you're probably going to see early game some energy efficiency built on him, so that he can just continuously use those, keep your enemies slowed, and that allows him to kind of try and make more trades here and there. So if you're going up against an E-60, just know his playstyle just really isn't that safe. I mean, his only safe ability here is actually his missiles. His Ionic Armor here is not as safe as you would think. For instance, if your AD carry is focusing on taking the lane, he's not going to be... you're not going to want your ADC to auto-attack him that much, which you would think makes him safe. But here's the thing, it receives or deals damage from a basic attack. So if he auto-attacks something like a minion wave, he's going to get that regen, which I guess actually makes it more safe. I thought that it was only like enemy heroes type of deal. So he has to go in and auto that minion wave to get this ionic armor. You don't want to stack it faster. You don't want to stack it with a low damage dealing auto attack, because it stacks faster, then he takes less damage, and then he goes in for that trade. So he's a bit safer than I thought, looking back at his ionic armor. But there are obviously ways around this. If you guys are good at managing his ionic armor, making sure that you wait to trade whenever you have more minions, you wait to trade when you have more damage than this ability can sustain against, then basically there's really no real way he can win trades unless he and his ADC just do more damage up front, which is totally possible because, again, he's got Missile Barrage, which the damage stacks as well as the slow, so, and it's also up fairly quickly, so that trading is really going to be happening a lot in this supported lane here. If you can easily dodge Missile Barrage, that might be your trade mechanic where you just, oh nope, I'm gonna dodge, and you get out of there. And you do that literally every 10 seconds. He uses this ability, then it looks like you're gonna have a better chance at winning the lane. But again, he does have a stun, and once he lands the stun, is basically you're going to be taking the full damage of Missile Barrage. I mean, honestly, that's a pretty hard hitting ability because I'm assuming the damage is going to scale, and Missile Barrage is just going to constantly be used. So, yeah, Ionic Armor looking like a very strong ability. He's probably going to want to stack this as much as possible before going in. So he seems like he's going to be the tankiest character actually that we've seen so far, which makes him really, really cool because then he also has Deep Impact, which gives him a huge shield. So overall, he looks like a pretty well-balanced character, seeing as they balanced his laning phase across all three of his abilities. He doesn't have like one ability that makes the lane. It's going to be all three of his abilities. So he's not really going to be prevalent until he gets his his Ionic Armor, and then his Missile Barrage at maybe level 3. So that's kind of just what I'm seeing so far in his kit. Let me know what you guys think of this kit. You guys agree with me, disagree with me, whatever. Let's just get talking about some of these characters in the comments, because I'm so interested at kind of looking at this stuff and checking them out. Also, quick update: they added an items tab in the website of the GenesisMoba.com. So if you guys want to check out any of the items, I will be covering a couple hopefully soon here. So that's really just the newest update that I have to bring you guys. Other than that, guys, that was E-60. So without further ado, guys, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe for more Genesis content, and feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later, bye!